Once you get down to 20% body fat or below, everything changes. Your hormones, your energy, your health, even how people see you. But your body doesn't play by the same rules anymore. I've coached dozens of busy men who were stuck right here. So unless you avoid the same traps that they fell into, you will stay soft no matter how hard you train and diet. The average guy today is carrying way more body fat than he thinks. In 2004, the average USA male was around 27 to 28% body fat. In Australia and Europe, it's probably not much lower. And it's probably even higher today, right? So if you're sitting at 20% or higher, you're already in the overweight or obese category, which means no matter how much you lift, you look soft and a little bit pudgy. Testosterone tends to run a bit lower, insulin sensitivity drops, and your risk of gaining more visceral fat, the dangerous kind, around your organs and your heart goes up. Don't get me wrong, going from 30 to 20% body fat is awesome progress, but you'll still look like just a smaller version of your old self. The love handles, the belly fat, and the back fat is still going to linger. The big transformation where your waist flattens, your shoulders and your arms start to pop, and you actually look more athletic only happens once you push below that 20% and down to 15%. This is one of the biggest milestones for my CEO and professional clients, as you can see here. Problem is most guys fail to ever get past this 20%, and here is why. The first mistake is that a lot of men say, I think I'm around 24% body fat, but upon taking a DEXA scan or an in-body scan, they're usually closer to 30% body fat or even higher. Looking at other people's photos isn't a reliable way to check because you don't know somebody's height, somebody's muscle mass, and the structure of their body. So the lighting could also be different as well. So it's just a guess. Misjudging your starting point is a very simple mistake to fix. The second mistake, for example, a guy at say 220 pounds and 30% body fat says,
I just need to lose 20 pounds.
But that would only drop him to about 23% body fat when you run the math on this, which is still in the overweight range. So misjudging the goal is also another common thing that you can easily fix using my calculator. The link is in the description. Keep in mind your first 10 to 20 pounds or 5 to 10 kilos off often comes the quickest and easiest, even from just cutting out eating shit food. But you don't really look that different. People may not even notice that you have lost weight, maybe only like close family or something like that, which can kind of crush your motivation a little bit if you were expecting bigger results. And this is why many guys lose that momentum right there and then. Third mistake, which I see all the time when guys are cutting out carbs, alcohol, and just flipping overnight to like a 100% clean diet, which will work for a few weeks until life slaps you in the face into a rebound, and then you're back to square one yet again. The all or nothing diet approach doesn't work long term. You must stop doing this, especially if you're relying too much on cardio, which can make you feel starved in between meals and just like snacking at 9 p.m. when you know you should be getting ready for bed. Or if you get really busy and you don't do the cardio, then your daily burn rate is going to drop and slow way down and store your fat loss. So breaking past this 20% isn't just about some quick weight loss. It's about doing it the right way with the right structure you can actually sustain for the long term. Once you implement this, here's what actually changes when you finally break through 20%. When you go from 30 or 25% down to 20% body fat, your clothes will get looser, but the visual changes are going to be smaller than what most guys expect. The fat usually comes off your face, your neck, your arms, your legs, and your back first, but the belly, the love handles, and the chest can take a little bit longer than what you would like. However, once you do drop below 20%, the changes are going to show up in the mirror a lot faster. The leaner you get, the more definition starts to pop everywhere. Your back and your hips will start to flatten out. Your shoulders and your arms will look a lot sharper. You will see muscle definition maybe you've never seen before. And then your pecs and your obliques will start to tighten up, and it'll work its way into the abs. And then when you reach that 15%, you will start to notice some ab definition depending on how thick your ab muscles are and how much ab training you do. You won't be bodybuilder shredded, but you will be lean and athletic, and you'll look healthy, like that strong, healthy look that is close to ripped. This is probably what women think of when they say, we love the dad bod. not some skinny limbed guy with a massive pot belly. At 15%, you feel lighter. You're going to perform better in your workouts. Your joints aren't going to be as jacked up and inflamed. You're going to feel good. You won't be out of breath. You will sleep better. And you might not even need to use a CPAP machine anymore if you have been using one. So as a result, you're going to have more energy in life. You'll probably need a whole new wardrobe, and that is going to come with a new boost of confidence. For example, here's David, a professional and father in his 50s, who had lost weight on his own, but got stuck. So we came on board and we set some clear KPIs and targets customized to his body shape and his goals. We reduced his workouts from 5 just down to 3, and as a result, he got 6-pack lean with more muscle and strength, still enjoying meals with the family and eating out with colleagues and enjoying life. He went from looking like just an average male in his 50s to strong and athletic role model for his kids, for his team, and he finally felt like the man he had pictured in his mind for decades. Imagine how different you'd feel walking into a dinner or work or with your family once you reach that point yourself. The truth is, it's not just about 6-pack abs. This transformation spills over into every area of your life. But here's the catch. What gets you down to 20% isn't guaranteed 15%. And here's why. So when you clean up your diet and you cut out the shitty food, the first 10 to 20 pounds are going to fall off, right? But below 20%, your margin for error shrinks a fair bit, which is where most guys start to stall out. For example, if your maintenance was 2,500 calories, you may have lost weight eating around 19 to 2,100 calories. But now that your body's lighter, your new maintenance could be closer to 23 to 2,400. So it's taken a slight haircut there. That means to keep progressing, you need to be more accurate so that you don't eat too close to your new adjusted maintenance range. And then as you lose more weight, your BMR can slightly reduce a little bit because the fitter you get, the more efficient your body becomes and your body doesn't have to work as hard to move around. This is where nutrition tracking and biofeedback data matter the most. Simply eating healthy is not going to be enough. You need to know your calories and your protein while also monitoring your carbs, fats, sodium, your steps, your recovery, and your overall strength progression. So for protein, you want to be aiming for about 1.6 to 2 grams per kilo or 0.72 to 0.9 grams per pound of your goal body weight. For less calories, the best way is to skim oils, butters, nuts, cheeses, and sauces from a different variety of meals you're having. Also swapping bread and pasta for stuff like potato or cauliflower rice, and that way you can still keep a full plate of food without blowing your budget. For example, this stir fry on the left here, swapped for cauliflower rice on the right, can be significantly lower calories, or this fried rice and chicken here with less oil and more vegetables on the right has a good drop in calories without sacrificing a full plate of food. You also want to be aware of liquids, alcohol, milk, sugary drinks, sweetened teas, mocha latte, frappuccino with whipped cream, bullshit. Cut it all back. Use stevia or artificial sweetener if you have to. You can swap for skim milk if needed, depending on what you're drinking, or 0-calorie sodas. And so saving on these calories just means that you can still eat satisfying meals and enjoy your food while staying on track in a tight deficit that will get you to 15% body fat. However, from 20% down to 15, it should be slow and steady. About half a kilo or 1 pound per week is plenty. Pushing faster than that, you're going to risk binging, cravings, slowing down your muscle growth, and just feeling like crap. But please do not lose fat first and then try to build muscle. The best time to build muscle is when you have the most amount of body fat. And the more you gain now, the leaner and bigger you're going to look at 15%. This is the approach even my busiest clients who travel every month can sustain. And that is why I don't just hand my clients a copy-pasted meal plan. I actually track their data and we adjust it every week based on how things are actually progressing. And this way things are always moving and we're not wasting any time. But without guidance, most guys just stay stuck for months, potentially years, because they fall into these common traps that I'm about to show you next. Mistake number 1, blowing a big chunk of your calories at breakfast. A plate of eggs, bacon, avocado, or sourdough, that could be like 500 to 700 calories, much of which is from fat content. And it just makes the rest of the day even harder. You'll probably find that by lunchtime you're even hungrier again, which leads to more snacking and overeating at nighttime, and ultimately blowing out your deficit. Mistake number 2, one bad day or grazing on food here and there is going to add up fast when your margin for error is shrinking. So below this 20%, as I said, everything counts. You've got to take ownership without blaming work, without blaming stress, or without blaming other people. And telling yourself,
oh, a little bit won't hurt,
will set you back when you're seeing results. Mistake number 3, running or cycling every day, trying to out-train a shit diet. It's just going to wreck your energy and jack up your hunger. Nutrition always comes first. Cardio is a tool. It's not the foundation to you actually losing fat unless you're an athlete. Mistake number 4, trying to get to 15% at some kind of race. If you're like most of my clients with business responsibilities, kids, working long hours, traveling often, your routine is going to get disrupted. And fat loss is a journey. That's why it's okay. It's not a strike mission. The only shortcut that exists is liposuction. And my coaching is far more affordable than that. But if you want the results that are going to last, you have to trust the process. You have to do the work and be patient with the results to come. Avoiding these mistakes is what separates the guys who yo-yo for decades from the guys who finally get and stay lean. But all this starts with setting the right goal, which I'm going to explain next. So I've heard a lot of guys say,
I'd love to maintain 20% body fat.
Look, I get it, but trust me, once you get there, you will not be happy staying there. It is just a checkpoint that you're going to pass through. Instead, make your goal 15%. But there is a catch. You have to get to 15% in a way that won't blow up in your face and rebound you back to 20 or above if life doesn't go perfectly to plan every single day. Because if you need life, work, family, friends, money, the weather, the government, the moon cycles, the planets to all align just so you can not eat shit, you're never going to make it. And then if one thing goes wrong, your fragile little plan is going to crumble like a half-baked cookie.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Like if you get to 15% doing a 30-day water fast, what do you think is going to happen once you reintroduce carbs and real food? And what about all that muscle you would have lost in the process of doing so? So don't take the piss with your approach. Or it's like trying to do keto or carnivore diets when you just don't have the time to cook bacon and steak 3 times a day. Or if you're out every week for work, drinks, business lunches, date night, and family dinners, I know many guys don't want to hear this. They'd rather some extreme hardcore plan to go full beast mode and just smash us out of the park. But if you enjoy a wine, if you enjoy a beer or a little bit of ice cream, it has to form part of your plan. Otherwise, you're going to crack under pressure and you're going to binge and it's going to just go to shit and ultimately keep pushing that 15% goalpost into the future so it's unreachable. So consistency is your friend. Sustainability is your foundation. There is no shortcuts. You get there 1 kilo, 1 pound at a time, my friend. Once you've acclimatized to 15%, then you can shoot for 11 to 13%. One of the best things I did was to find out firsthand what too lean actually looks like and feels like. But then I reversed out of it and I maintained that 11 to 13% year round. But 15% should be your first key milestone to lock that in. And this is exactly what I do with my private CEO and professional clients who need to drop 20 or 50 plus pounds while still running a business or working a busy career, enjoying family dinners, business lunches, and being able to travel with this flexibility and not this pressure and being so strict all the time. If you are serious about this and you want me to help build your custom metabolic recomp plan with weekly adjustments, ongoing accountability, apply. The link is in the description below this video. I only take a couple of spots each month for one-on-one clients. Or if one-on-one is not within your budget, you can grab all my systems inside the Business Body Blueprint routine. Link is also in the description. And once you've done that, watch this video next where I break down the honest truth about losing belly fat after 30. Go watch this now.